Welcome back to Frame by Frame, where we break down your favorite movies scene by scene. Today we're diving deep into the terrifying world of The Nun 2, 2023, directed by Michael Chavez. If you thought the first movie was scary, hold on tight, because this sequel takes things to a whole new level. We'll explore the horrifying events that unfold in The Nun 2, uncovering the secrets, scares, and suspense that will leave you breathless. Stick around until the end and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more movie breakdowns. Let's get started. Our story picks up 4 years after the terrifying events of the first film. It's 1956, and we're now in France, where the evil force that terrorized Sister Irene is about to rise again. The movie opens with a chilling scene. A priest walking alone through the narrow streets of a quiet town is brutally killed in a church. His body is found hanging, his face twisted in fear. The church walls are marked with strange symbols, ones that seem hauntingly familiar to anyone who remembers the dark history of the Abbey in Romania. The death of this priest signals the return of Valak, the demon who once took the form of a nun. Sister Irene, who has tried to move on from the horrors she faced, is living a quiet life in Italy. She's still haunted by the memories of Valak, but she has faith that the evil was banished for good. But when word of the priest's death reaches the Vatican, they immediately call upon Sister Irene. She knows better than anyone that Valak is not a force to be taken lightly, and she reluctantly agrees to investigate. The fear in her eyes tells us that she knows this will not be easy. Sister Irene is joined by her old friend Maurice, also known as Frenchie, whom we remember from the first film. Maurice has been living in France, working at a boarding school for girls. At first, things seem normal in his life, but something is lurking beneath the surface. Unbeknownst to him, Valak's dark influence has followed him ever since they left the Abbey. Morris has been experiencing strange visions and losing time. He doesn't realize it yet, but he's becoming a vessel for the demon's power. The boarding school, where Morris works as a handyman, is a key location in The Nun 2. The school itself feels ominous, an old creaky building that seems to hold secrets in its walls. It's here that some of the most disturbing events of the movie take place. We're introduced to a young girl named Sophie, who quickly becomes a central character. Sophie is bullied by the other students, but it's not the girl she's most afraid of. Strange things begin happening in the school. Books falling from shelves, lights flickering, and shadows that move on their own. One of the creepiest scenes early on takes place in the school chapel. It's dark, the candles flicker, and the camera pans slowly over the room. You can feel the tension build as Sophie enters to pray, hoping for some comfort, but she's not alone. As she kneels, we see something behind her, a dark figure in a nun's habit, slowly moving closer. The scene is masterfully shot, using silence and slow tension to ramp up the fear. Just as Sophie turns, the figure vanishes, leaving her and us wondering if what she saw was real or just her imagination. But we, the audience, know it's not just her mind playing tricks. Valak is back. As more strange events unfold, Sister Irene arrives at the boarding school to find Maurice. From the moment she steps foot on the grounds, she can feel that something is terribly wrong. The air is thick with an unnatural cold, and there's an overwhelming sense of dread. The students whisper about seeing a ghostly figure at night, and Sister Irene knows all too well who or what it is. Morris, meanwhile, begins to act strangely. He's plagued by nightmares, and his body starts showing signs of possession. His behavior becomes more erratic, and Sister Irene begins to suspect that Valak's influence has latched onto him. In a particularly chilling scene, Maurice wakes in the middle of the night, standing in front of a mirror. His reflection doesn't move as he does. It stays still, grinning wickedly. It's a subtle but terrifying moment, one that shows how deep Valak's control has become. As the movie progresses, we learn that the boarding school was built on ancient grounds, and beneath it lies an old chapel where unholy rituals were once performed. It's here that Valak is drawing its power, using Maurice as a conduit to break through the barriers between the living and the dead. Sister Irene and Maurice must race against time to find out how to stop the demon before it fully possesses him and wreaks havoc on the world. One of the most intense sequences takes place in the school's catacombs, a maze of dark, narrow tunnels beneath the building. Sister Irene, Maurice, and Sophie find themselves trapped in these tunnels, with Valak hunting them. The camera work here is claustrophobic, making you feel like the walls are closing in. The sound of footsteps, whispers, and distant chanting adds to the overwhelming sense of fear. In one horrifying moment, they come face to face with Valak in its true form, a twisted, monstrous version of the nun, with glowing eyes and a cruel smile. The demon seems to toy with them, appearing and disappearing, driving them deeper into madness. But Sister Irene refuses to give up. She's armed with knowledge from the first film, and she knows that faith is her strongest weapon. In the final act, she discovers an ancient relic hidden within the chapel's altar, an artifact believed to contain the blood of Christ. This relic is the key to stopping Valak once and for all. But as she tries to retrieve it, Valak strikes, separating Sister Irene from the others and trapping her in the chapel. What follows is an epic battle between good and evil. Valak taunts Sister Irene, reminding her of her past failures, trying to break her spirit. But Irene stands firm, using the relic to fight back. The final confrontation is intense, with Valak's full power on display. The walls of the chapel crack and crumble, candles are snuffed out by an unseen force, and the air grows heavy with the smell of sulfur. Sister Irene manages to wield the relic in a moment of pure strength, using her faith to banish Valak back to the shadows from where it came. But even as the demon is forced back into the darkness, there's a sense that this victory might not be permanent. Maurice, though freed from Valak's immediate control, still bears the mark of the demon. In the final moments of the movie, as Sister Irene and Sophie leave the boarding school, we see a flicker of something dark in Maurice's eyes, a hint that Valak's influence may still linger. The film leaves us with the chilling feeling that evil is never truly defeated. It just waits for the right moment to strike again. And that's the terrifying tale of the Nun 2. The movie takes everything that was creepy about the first film and cranks it up to 11, delivering a story filled with suspense, shocking scares, and a deep sense of dread. From the eerie setting of the boarding school to the intense confrontations with Valak, this movie keeps you on the edge of your seat from start to finish. If you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Frame by Frame for more deep dives into your favorite movies. Hit that bell icon so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep an eye on those shadows, because you never know what might be lurking in the dark.